Okay, this example has us applying what we've learned so far. How to set up an equation, how to use an equation for our benefit, and it talks about an idea from last unit, statistics, which is kind of interesting. Mean means add them all up and divide by how many there are. Okay, so if I know what the mean is, then I can set up an equation where all of these values are being added together, and then I divide by how many days of the week there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 days represented. Okay, so this is what my equation looks like. It says use the table to find out what x is. X is the unknown quantity. That's what we're trying to figure out. All right, there are 5 days out of the week right here that we are looking at. Okay, so on Wednesday we want to figure out that temperature if the mean high temperature for the 5 days is 65 degrees. There's some important information that we have. Okay, so remember we said the symbol for mean is this. X bar equals 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up an equation. And the equation will be the mean is on one side, 65 degrees Fahrenheit, is going to equal the average of all of these. So in order to figure out the average, we go 76 plus 70 plus x plus 68, because x is our unknown amount. We don't know what that is, plus 55. Okay? So now we draw a big line underneath, and remember the definition for mean is add them all up, divide by how many there are, which is 5 numbers, all right, that we're representing. Okay, this is what we're trying to figure out. That's our unknown value. Maybe I'll even highlight it a little bit by doing another color here. That's our unknown quantity that we're trying to figure out. So what we can do is we can try to simplify this arithmetic a little bit. Add up these values right here. So I'm going to go 76 plus 70, and I get 146 right here, 146 for these two. But then what I can do is I can keep going. I can just add these, even though they're separated by this x value, not a big deal. Commutative property of addition, you can add in any order as long as there's no multiplication around there. Just adding, so we're going to add 68 to it. So I'm going to add 68 here. And I'm also adding 55. Double check. 70. All right, so what I end up with 65, I rewrite it, equals, and then all these numbers added together is 269 plus x, all divided by 5. Okay, that's my next step. How do I get rid of this dividing by 5? I cannot get rid of this step on the top yet. What I do need to absolutely get rid of next is the thing that's not directly acting on the variable. So this part right here is directly acting on the variable, but what's the furthest away on this side? The dividing by 5 is the furthest step away from. So what do I do to get rid of dividing by 5? I must multiply by 5 on both sides, right, like this. Okay? So then these will cross out. That's the whole idea. Here, let me go like this. That yellow seems to be a good way to cross them out. All right. And so if I was to rewrite it now, 5 times 65 is what I get, 5 times 65, and that is 325 on this side of the equal sign. Okay, now there's no more 5s over here, and I rewrite it as 269 plus x. Now if I was to guess on the temperature, there is a number here that makes sense, like somewhere between, like, say 50 degrees all the way up to, like, say maybe 80 degrees. If it's in line with the other temperatures, then it needs to be a number that makes sense. All right. So right here, I'm going to do the opposite of positive 269, which is subtract 269. In order to get it to cancel out, I must do it on both sides. 269 over here. Cross these out. And I end up with x equals, on one side by itself, so I'm getting there, this is awesome, divide by 269, and I get 56 degrees. So we sort of have a smaller, colder temperature, just a little bit in comparison to the rest of our numbers. That is our final answer. You could go back and check it, but I think we did pretty good. So, our temperature for Wednesday is 56 degrees. The setup is half the battle. What is it telling you? It actually gives you the mean. The fact that it gives you the mean means that we have to set it equal to the amount of arithmetic to calculate the mean or the average needs to be set equal to the mean. All right, they already averaged these numbers, but we have an unknown number that was a part of the average. All right, so that concludes example 4. Check out the next one.